What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It is freaking cold outside, and I know you guys are going to get tired of hearing me say that, but it sucks right now. And if you live in the Midwest, you know what I'm talking about. So this is tinker time for us. There's only so many times you can go through and put new line on and rework your tackle and reorganize everything. So we spend a lot of time in the winter prepping for the upcoming season. Most of you, if you follow the channel, know that my son Hunter, who you see on the channel quite often, and my daughter Paisley, started making their own fishing lures, primarily jigs and multiple different types of jigs. What we're talking about today is kind of lure builds, primarily how to hand tie jig skirts. Now there is lots of ways to skin this cat, and I'm just going to show you the method that I have learned that I feel works best for us. So if you've never done it before, try it and see if it works out for you too. When it comes to hand tying jigs, there's some great benefits. One, you can keep some of the jig material, skirt material in your boat, and you can really match, whether it be a bluegill or a bait fish or a crawfish. You can really kind of mix and match some of your colors and really create your own color that matches the crawfish or bait fish or sunfish for that lake. Now, I am not a professional at this by any means, so I'm going to throw that disclaimer out there. Got a bunch of cheap stuff that I use to do this. So I'm going to go through the few things that you're going to need. One, a pair of side cutters, a good pair of scissors, your jig head of choice. This is one that we pour, and I'm actually making this jig for a little Ohio River jig that I like to throw a lot. And then you're going to need some florist wire or craft wire. There's different sizes here. You can play around with what you like. I like the 26 gauge, but the 24 gauge works well too. Cheap skirt tool. Now you can make this out of an aluminum arrow. As you can see, I've got an old aluminum arrow here, cut about 4 inches, and got a field point on an insert. And it just slides in there. And that is so that you can feed your collar up over this and pull your skirt material through. And then just a little wire hook. You can cut this out of a piece of pretty much any wire. It needs to be a little stiffer, so this is actually welder wire. And then of course, your skirt tabs. Now, I'm going to just put this skirt together real quick for you. I'm going to take my skirt tabs. I like to cut them in half, and it just allows me to stack my colors together and get them mixed up a little bit so that I don't get like a laminate appearance. I can get them mixed up some. So I just take my little hook and I'm going to feed it right through that tab so that it's hanging, and then I grab the next color that I want, and I'm going to do the same thing, and then the next color and the last one. Okay, now my skirt is basically put together. So now I'm going to take my O-ring, put it on my skirt tool, slide that O-ring down. Now I just use a small O-ring. You can use the actual rubber skirt collars, but if you do that, you're going to have to cut it off and then you're just wasting them. I can reuse this O-ring over and over again. Take my skirt material and my wire hook. I'm going to feed it into the skirt tube. Grab a hold of this end, pull my skirt material up, just keeping them nice and even, just like that. When it comes out the other end, I'm going to pull just a little bit till I get about 2 inches out. And then I'm going to slide this O-ring down, pull the rest of it out. Skirt's put together. Now, we're going to take our jig head, just like this, and I'm going to find about where I want it to go into the skirt. And remember, you don't want your point of entry to be center of the skirt, because we need this skirt material to stick up over the head a little farther than center, so that when we make our wrap, we're actually wrapping on the collar up closer to the head, and then when the skirt material folds back, they will be even like this. So we need to make sure that our skirt collar or O-ring is slightly off center. Enter your hook on the long side, okay, and bring it on through just like that. Okay, and now this is where I just take the skirt material and I'm going to hold it here, and I'm going to kind of even it all up all the way around the body, get it sitting about where I want, and then I'm going to push that O-ring up over onto the bait holding portion of the head. Now we're going to put this in our vise. Now I have just a cheap, I don't have one of these fancy fly tying vices. This is literally a $20 vise from Harbor Freight. Okay, so I got the jig in the vise here, and you can see I've got it kind of sitting on that bait holding collar, and then my actual collar for tying the skirt will be right in here. I'm going to do my best to keep my fat fingers out of the picture. I'm going to take and cut about a 6 to 7 inch piece of this wire, and I'm just going to bend it into a V. You can see that is just bent into a V, just like that. Okay, then we're going to come around just in front of that O-ring. Make sure our skirt is nice and even. I'm going to try to keep my hands here, and we're just going to cross it. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to make, with one of these fingers, we're going to make 2 full wraps. So there's one. Okay, there is 2, just like that, and just leave it be. And then we're going to get a hold of this one and do the same thing. So we're wrapping in opposite directions. There's 1, there's 2. Now bring that up where they cross each other. Okay, we want them to stay crossed just like that. Take a pair of side cutters, and I'm just gonna get a hold of it like that, and I'm gonna turn them just like that. So I'm pulling against the head. I'm gonna take my 2 tag ends. I'm gonna make 1 twist so that they held together just like that. And then I'm gonna twist again and again. And really I make about 6 full to 8 full twists just like that. And you want to cut, leave about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna go in and cut right there, just like that. Okay, so you can see I've got this 1/4 inch barb sticking up. Now all you need to do is push that down with your finger. That's all there is to on the tying part. Now you can go back over this with a super glue or an epoxy if you wanted to. I have not had a problem with them coming undone, so I don't feel that it's necessary. We got to go in and cut all of our tabs. I just go through, and right where the tab is uncut, I go through and I just cut it just like that. And I'm going to go through and do each one of these. Some of them you can cut 2 at a time. And it doesn't have to be precise. I promise you, you're going to care a whole lot more than the fish do. The fish could absolutely care less. And then I'm just going to kind of fluff that around, make sure that I got all the tabs cut, which appears that I do. Now we're going to come around here, and I'm going to cut this side. Now, I'm going to take this out of the vise, and I'll make any additional trims that I deem necessary. Fan this skirt out, get it sitting where I want, just like that. And you can twist this skirt around a little bit. Like if there's a little more orange in one place that you want it to be in another, you can kind of move it around just a little bit. I will go back and make an additional cut. I just grab a hold of the head like this, and then I will go in and make an additional cut with my scissors to even it up a little bit. There again, the fish do not care. It is the fishermen that care. Now you'll notice there is no weed guard. I I will glue these weed guards in later. Now, when you're hand tying, having that weed guard out of the way makes your job so much easier. So if you're pouring your own heads, do not put your weed guards in until you tie your skirt, and then you can epoxy in your weed guard. It is worth waiting because it makes hand tying so much easier. Otherwise, you're fighting those wraps around that weed guard, and it makes it a pain in the rear. So just a little tip to remember on that. Over time, those rubber bands that hold the skirt material on, those little rubber skirt collars, they will start to get soft and they fall apart. If you're a fisherman, at some point or another, you have opened up a tackle box or a bag or something that had a spinnerbait in it or a jig where the rubber skirt had gone bad and there's skirt material everywhere and it's all gummy and nasty. This eliminates that hand tying. So if you're not a lure builder and you just want to preserve the jigs that you have with the skirts that are on them now, you can slide your skirt down just a little bit and get that collar out of the way of its seat where it sits. Tie it, take a pair of scissors, snip that collar out, and boom, you have a hand-tied skirt. So, good way to prep your tackle and get the most out of your tackle is to go through and hand tie these. All in all, I haven't noticed any difference in fish catches, whether it's hand tied or not. It's really just durability and longevity. You all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share our channel with a friend. We appreciate it. And until next time, you all have a fantastic week.